Hey everyone, it's Concert Canuck here. We are on Whyte Avenue today at the Commercial Hotel Blues on Whyte with the amazing Steve McQueen, who is here for a show tonight. So exciting. Steve is based out of Calgary, so it's always special when he comes up to Edmonton and has a show here. How are you feeling today?
Good, even though with the construction and rush and everything, it's going to be a speed interview. No, we can take as much time as we need. But thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm sorry you had to experience construction time in Edmonton. It is not fun. Not fun.
We're up here a few times a year. Usually it's come summertime, we pretty much know what we're in for, right? So that's Alberta traffic for you. But,
yep, 100%.
But worth it. Yeah.
So I'm going to start with actually a lighthearted question. I want to talk about your name because
Sure.
Do you actually get confused a lot with the actor?
Oh yeah, I've been getting that since the first grade.
Have you?
Yeah.
So were you named? Like, did your parents do that intentionally?
So I've asked this question a few times to my parents. I was like, you had to know, right? You know, and I've said this answer many times. When people ask, is that your real name? I was like, actually, I was conceived at the drive-in during Bullet.
Were you?
And my mother hates it when I tell that story. She's like, stop telling people that. It's actually not true. Bullet came out before me, but you know, it's one of those things. But yeah, it's always been a good conversation piece. But since like the first grade, I mean, I've been getting that all along. And of course, I've had band names over the years, and my name would usually just overshadow. It'd be like being in a band with a guy named Tom Cruise,
right?
And you can just pick any random band name, and it's just like, what? So. Yeah, so most people, they're usually asking, like, is that your real name? It's gotten me out of a few speeding tickets, too. So
has it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So do you have a favorite movie of his? Like, have you watched his stuff?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I ended up getting educated. My dad was a fan, and I did get educated when I was a kid on his movies and stuff like that. So Bullet for the car chase. But my favorite is he was actually sick while he did it, but nobody knew it. It was called The Hunter, and it was 1980.
Yes,
because that's when he died in 1980. Hanging off a subway or a subway car and stuff like that. So still doing all the stunts and still great and everything. And then of course my sons Ethan and Jaden were out during the Cars movies, so I get Steve McQueen or whatever. They get Lightning McQueen, right? So. Most people don't know that they think those names are made up too. So.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
So
I like the Cars movies.
Yeah, it's been cool. It's definitely broken the ice a few times, that's for sure, and certainly memorable. Even though people still think it's a fake name, but it's not. I assure you. So, but anyway.
That's awesome. So you're originally from St. John's, New Brunswick, right?
St. John, New Brunswick, Maritimer, yeah.
So New Brunswick is beautiful. I have spent time there. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Have you?
And I have been to St. John. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. What brought you out west?
Well, how much time do we got here?
As much as you like.
So I'm born and raised St. John, New Brunswick. Grew up in Grand Bay, just like about 20 minutes outside St. John, and it was a great place to grow up. And of course, I was on the music scene. I started playing clubs when I was 15 years old. Played with guys who were older than me. And I could do the songs that they wanted to sing, and they wanted to play and everything. I started playing basically from there to the point where the drinking age back east is 19.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I was 15. So the first year I played the clubs, I had to basically pretend that I was, they knew, but I had to be in a band room like this, and then. I turned 19 miraculously every year after that. There'd be people walking around in the clubs going, because I just came from school, and they'd be like, is he supposed to be in there? They'd be like, he's in the band, don't worry about it, right?
I love it.
So I played in New Brunswick till I was basically, till about the age of 19. I moved to Toronto, played on that scene for about 5 years, went back east, put out an independent record. I know I'm jumping around a lot.
No, it's okay, all good.
And then after that, I moved out to Alberta, and it was mostly just, I heard about the scene, but like a lot of people, come to Alberta, it's really about, for the work, and I made my family out here, and although St. John, New Brunswick will always be my hometown, I've made my home in Calgary, and we get to travel all over now, so it's been great.
So did you always want to be a musician from a young age?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm basically a product of my parents' record collection. I mean, most of us are, but
So am I.
yeah. So
What
it
a
was between
coincidence.
the record collection and then Sunday drives. So
Yes.
a lot of AM gold, right?
Yeah, oh,
You
for
know,
sure.
Dreamweaver and
Yeah.
got Undercover Angel to the Doobie Brothers, the Eagles, and you name it, right? And then of course, and that was everything from the Beatles to the Stones to Kenny Rogers to Olivia Newton-John to every disco record to Motown, Elvis, of course. I mean, a little bit of everything. And then the band that was mine that I discovered through my friends, it was not part of my parents' record collection, was AC/DC.
Yes.
They were the gateway band, and that led to Ozzy and Motley and Van Halen and so on and so on and so on. And but yeah, from a very young age, definitely it was. It was, something. My father was in most of my aunts and uncles were on the McQueen side. Were all part of a Scottish pipe band.
Oh, cool.
So they played bagpipes and and drums and things like that. I didn't grow up so much with that in my house, but it was just a lot of music played, and I just gravitated towards it. And it was one of those things where I could mimic fairly well, even as a kid, and that just sort of turned into more of that stuff. And then my friends would just be like, hey, you sound like that. So next thing I know, I was like, okay, getting the confidence to go into music situations. And then there was friends at school and things like that. And then next thing you know, it was like, all right, well, I'm going to be a singer in a band. And a friend of mine actually, Peter Touchborn from Grand Bay. He was living out here for quite a while, but he made the comment to me. He came out to one of the shows and he was like, you're like the only one of our friends that said they were going to be something when they were a kid and actually stuck to it. Because we all say, we're going to be a fireman or a policeman or whatever. He was like, but you said you were going to be a singer. He goes, and here you are still living that life. And I said, well, I appreciate, the fact that, you guys pointed that out. I was like, I don't know whether it means whether I haven't grown up yet or not. So, but I'm glad to be representing and playing music, wherever they'll have me. So
are you coming up for the AC/DC show that's happening in August?
So no commitments yet because my brother and my cousin and I went to Vegas last year
To see them?
To see them at Allegiant Stadium, 67,000 people,
Yes.
all with the red horns
Yes.
lit up. I got pictures of my phone of that. And what
awesome.
a communal experience. And Angus Young just, I mean, he could go out there in a wheelchair playing the way he was playing and still light up that crowd. So it was pretty amazing. So no commitments yet, but yeah, I did see them and it was amazing.
I'm excited because it's a bucket list show for me. And they're actually playing Edmonton this time, so I don't have to travel.
Right, yeah. Commonwealth Stadium,
Commonwealth
right?
Stadium, yeah.
It'll be worth it. I mean, it's such a communal experience with those songs because it's 50 years of those tunes, and essentially AC/DC are just conductors for the night because the whole place is just singing every single word.
So just this little side, but the last time AC/DC was in Edmonton, apparently a thunderstorm happened during Thunderstruck.
My brother was at that. Yeah.
Like,
He told me about that.
How cool would that have been, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't go. I had a show, my own show that night or whatever. But yeah, he told me. I think Brian said he said that Brian. It was like 2 or 3 mics ended up going out or whatever to work just because of the rain. So crazy. Yeah.
So what were some of your earliest influences then? I mean, you mentioned your parents' record collections.
Sure.
Who were your favorite artists growing up?
So from my parents' record collection, it was literally everything from the Temptations, where my dad would a lot of times, when he could hear me sort of mimicking those parts, Papa Was a Rolling Stone would come up, which is a song that we have covered in SMB for a long time.
Cool.
So there's 5 distinct parts in that, even like with the harmonies and things like that, and a couple of lead singers. So I would sort of pick that stuff out, and he would challenge me to do that stuff. And then, of course, we all grew up with the, Saturday Night Fever, and Grease. I think every household had those records. So started, I would do the dance contest at the trailer park.
Can you still do it?
Catch me tonight. We do a heavier version of You Should Be Dancing. You tell
Really?
me.
Okay.
Yeah, you tell me
That's
if
awesome.
I've got the
Okay.
Tony Manero moves. We'll see. I'm a little out of practice, but
I'll try and film this for everybody.
okay, for sure. And so that was, so it was, as I said, a little bit of everything. Of course, the Eagles was a band that my dad and I really bonded over. So the songwriting, has never left me for that. And of course, SMB does some Eagles songs as well. And of course, the Beatles and things like that. As I mentioned, when I found AC/DC, that being my gateway band, Ozzy, Van Halen, Motley, Bon Jovi, Guns N' Roses, Skid Row, and Down on the Line, or whatever, of course, Alice in Chains. And then, of course, come the 90s, I became much more of a fan of songs than artists.
Yeah.
And, I love Lenny Kravitz and Bruno and lots of that stuff. But I would say when I mentioned my heroes in terms of like the bands, we're talking, Van Halen, Motley Crue, Ozzy, of course, Kiss, AC/DC. So when I talk about my favorite singers, we're going down the line of Bon Scott, David Lee Roth, Paul Stanley, Vince Neil, John Bon Jovi, Axl Rose, and Sebastian Bach. He was the last great front man of that whole era for sure.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And then of course, I actually learned to sing harmony from Alice in Chains, the Dirt record, which both my kids are just obsessed with now.
That's awesome.
I seen them 1992, started the Dirt tour at Masonic Temple in Toronto. Still have the concert stub, and So it's a little bit of everything, but those were sort of the early ones growing up. Where as far as my music was the Motleys and Bon Jovi and Van Halen, stuff like that.
Those are all great artists. Yeah, I've seen most of those live too. So
and they're timeless. Yeah. Every generation has found them, right? So. Yeah. And that says a lot. We do a lot of that stuff in our show, amongst a little bit of everything. We do some dance stuff, but again, what was it the last when we were opening for Lear, and we do a couple of Lady Gaga tunes, and
do you really?
Yeah, and we heavy one of them up, and I asked the crowd, and especially more of a different sort of mixed audience when it comes to different demographics, not necessarily just a hard rock audience. I'll ask any Lady Gaga fans out there or whatever, and they'll all scream. When we did it at the Lee Aaron show, which was, a lot of it was still a lot of it was our audience and everything, but there were some people, and I hope can I swear on this one?
Oh, you can go.
Okay. Anyway, I was any Lady Gaga fans out there, and they're all like, "Ooh, it was a half response." I go, "Well, we're gonna Motley Crue the shit out of it for you, so how about that?" And then everybody cheered, and so you'll hear actually there's. We kind of we have our sound, and we put, and a lot of that is our influences. So even the stuff that we cover, that kind of comes through.
Okay, I'm super excited because I'm a huge Lady Gaga fan myself.
Oh, okay, good.
I've seen her every time she's come to
Have
Edmonton.
you? Yeah.
I have not missed it.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan too, because to me she's David Bowie meets Madonna meets Marilyn Manson to know what I mean. It's all Freddie, obviously, where she got the name Freddie. So it's a little bit of everything. So yeah, I'm a huge fan too.
So I was going to ask you this later, but since you brought up the Lee Aaron show, how did that go?
Oh, great. Yeah. It was what we've got coming up actually at the end of July is the Cornstalk and Tabor.
Yes.
Ken Holst and the Spider Entertainment Group. This will be our 4th year. I want to say our 4th.
What day are you playing?
5th. So we're playing Friday, Saturday. We do the after party.
Oh, okay.
So this is what we've been asked to do. So it's our own stage.
Yeah.
And then whether it was Honeymoon Suite or whether it was, it's been everybody. Like this year, it's going to be Colin James on the Saturday. Friday is going to be Big Wreck. Last year it was Tom Cochran, and then it was Glass Tiger on both nights. And basically they're like, "Good night, everybody," and then they throw it to us to keep things going, and then we keep everybody around for another 90 minutes, 2 hours, or however long they're ready to rock with us, and that's been how it's been going. So we've a lot of the bands that I'm talking about we've actually opened for over the years, but it's gotten to the point where we were asked to close the show. Same with the Lee Aaron show because of our experience doing that. So, that's kind of gotten around that we're the closers now. So it's worked out. It's really worked out. So everybody sticks around for us, and we keep the night rocking, and we're just thankful to be on the bill.
So everybody going to Cornstalk, you have more Steve McQueen to look forward to, which will be great. So I want to talk about because you do have songs that you have Unsung Hero and Give Me Strength.
Right.
They're phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
What were your inspiration behind writing those 2 songs?
So now those songs, I'm obviously because you would have seen those on Spotify and things like that,
yeah.
right?
You can stream them on Spotify.
Oh, that's absolutely. And we play them live as well. And I actually have a record that's all been recorded and everything.
Phenomenal.
But given the music business the way it is, we've just kind of been releasing things a little bit at a time, kind of waiting for the business to kind of land on what it's going to be. Because just putting things out into the void kind of becomes a little bit of could be a little discouraging rather than just put it out. Our audience certainly appreciates it, but it's not the easiest thing to put these things out and have them heard by everybody, right? It's one thing if you were able to get on Much Music or if you were able to get onto the radio without payola, which is pretty next to impossible these days. But we've had a lot of airplay over the years. Actually, Give Me Strength was played on over 40 radio stations across the country. Same thing with Unsung Hero. And I put out an indie record back in the late 90s that had 4 songs on that on the radio, mostly back east, but across the country as well. And so as far as with the inspiration for those particular songs, Give Me Strength, Unsung Hero, I've always kind of looked at, I've always tried to be fairly optimistic, you know, when it comes to things. I find it's real easy to, there's no shortage of things that are bad in the world, you know, and you can pile on to that, or you could try to find something that's either a solution or something positive to, you know, to me, it's just about that hope of, you know, I do make the joke though, because I did whenever my mom would get frustrated, she'd be like, "Give me strength." You know what I mean? When I was a kid, and so that was kind of in the, in our environment and everything. But really, it was just about the day-to-day grind. I think that we all go through, and just knowing that better things are to come, and hang in there. Actually, I want to give somebody was actually supposed to be here tonight. Her name is Tracy. She's not going to be able to make it or whatever. Unfortunately, she's going through a health crisis here right now. And she told me this morning she was listening to that song, which was nice to hear and everything. So we're sending her all our strength, and we're going to play that for her tonight, along with Proud Mary. She wants to hear we do the Tina version of Proud Mary.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so those are ones we don't get out the door without her hearing and everything. But yeah, those are the inspirations. Unsung is all 3 verses is sort of a mini story. I've always seen music very cinematically.
Yes.
So that was kind of the idea of just, basically a single mother is, a working single mother of 2 for the first verse. Second verse is basically about a kid who gives up school to help with the family. It's easier to go to work than to stay in school. And the names have been changed to protect the innocent. But I did go to school with somebody who did that, and then the last one is basically about a fireman who saves somebody and ultimately and ends up giving his own life to save somebody. And of course we've seen lots of that, not only in where I'm from. With unfortunate tragedies that happen, but I mean, we even seen that with things like 9/11 and things like that, right? So those were the things, but it was really about, especially with that song, of just, because at the end of the song I say, so now you're not so unsung anymore, because, that's the whole thing of doing a song about the people who don't always have their name in lights or get all the credit or are asking how much something pays or for any particular praise in the world. So those are things that kind of light me up when it comes to a particular song. I got piles and piles of stuff, and don't get me wrong, I've written my share of negative tunes.
Yes.
But I just, they don't necessarily seem to ring. They don't seem to ring as true to me, because I may not feel that way the next day, and I'd rather, if I can. It just felt better about putting some light out into the world if you can. I think we could all kind of use that, especially now. So.
Well, they're great songs.
Thank
So
you.
please go to Spotify if you have Spotify and stream them, because they're fantastic. And Tracy, I hope you have a really speedy recovery.
Yeah.
we'll keep you in our thoughts tonight.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I want to talk about your other bands. I want to start with Runaway.
Sure.
Because I am a huge Bon Jovi fan.
Nice. Yeah, me too.
Oh, I absolutely love him. I've loved him since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then when I was in high school, when Always came out, that was literally like my song. I think.
Oh, there we go.
I think I wore out that track and wore out the video.
Absolutely.
So tell, how did that come to be? Because you do, when you do sing, you do really sound like John Bon Jovi.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had, different haircuts through the years and things like that. There's people who, I'll be like, well, yeah, I wish I had his money, But no, huge influence, and especially that particular song. Actually, I'll show you a video from the last. It was the last show, Rock the Dock. It was in Sycamoose. This lady came up and threw her panties.
Oh,
They were out of her purse. So you know what I mean. I caught them. So anyway, and I was like, well, that's the ultimate rock and roll salute right there. So. Anyway, I was just like, we'll add them to our collection. Thank you. We must be doing something pretty well up here, right? So she was feeling the tune, obviously. But that's definitely one of those songs, because I remember when that particularly came out, because, even when they, especially when they blew up during Slippery and New Jersey and everything, I liked them, but Motley was more of my band, and Guns N' Roses at that time. I liked them. It really wasn't until the 90s came around when all their peers were not lasting. And they did. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, and then when Keep the Faith and all that come out,
that was a great album too.
I'm like, for me, I was like, there's way more going on here than I ever gave them credit for. And then it's one of my favorites, actually, called An Evening with Bon Jovi. It's a lot of acoustic stuff.
Yes.
The harmonies are just amazing. Mm-hmm. I mean, that band was really unmatched when it came to talent, as far as I'm concerned. So I was a huge fan, and so I ended up getting the call. Dave Chomiak, who books both bands.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave. We'll see you soon. But he asked me to do the Motley one, and I've done that for a couple years now, and that's all been a lot of fun. I basically get to be, me as a little kid, jumping from, my bed to the floor, and, all my posters on the wall, and I get to reenact that whole thing in front of people. And then again, I like Bon Jovi, but really it was the 90s. They were really a big inspiration, even for SMB. Them and Aerosmith, as far as I was concerned, and Lenny Kravitz, to me were my favorite things about the 90s.
Yes.
Because they carried on with their sound, with their audience, and they gained a whole new audience too. A real R&B section of their sound kind of came about as well. And always... I always say this on stage whenever we do it. It's like, this is a song that it was in the top 10. It was, 94? Okay, 94 come out.
I was in high school, yeah.
Yeah, 94. And
94, right.
It was in the top 10 for 6 months.
Yes.
This is the height of grunge alternative. Yep. And not only does this band survive, but thrive.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So, I mean, just amazing stuff. So I went to see them. I was living in Toronto at the time. 95, the These Days tour. They didn't tour for Crossroad, right?
Yes.
So that was the first time anybody had heard Always. And I've told this story before. I watched a band, it was one of the greatest musical performances I've ever seen in my life. I walked out of there going, now that is how it is done. When they did Always, no word of a lie, it was couples and women everywhere around weeping.
Yep.
Weeping and singing every word. I was just like, so anyway, I'm a huge fan too. And I got asked to be a part of it. I think it's over a year now I've been doing that. And we've traveled quite a bit. We just did a swing through BC, and there's more shows coming up this year. Lots more to come. So I'm a huge fan. So I share that with you.
So sure. I have to ask.
Sure.
Because I have seen Bon Jovi in concert 3 times.
Okay.
And all 3 times they have not done Always.
Really?
This is a bone of contention with my dad, because Dad, that is also one of his favorite songs.
Right.
And we went 3 times, and all 3 times they didn't. And so my dad is like, okay, I'm not going to go see him again. I'm never going to see this song live. So are you coming to Edmonton so I can hear this song live in some form and join all the weeping women in the crowd? Because I won't
Okay.
cry.
No pressure. Yeah. I don't exactly. I'll have to check the dates.
Okay.
But I'll definitely message you.
Please do.
Absolutely.
I'll bring Kleenex.
Yeah, there is. There will be an Edmonton date. I'm not exactly sure when. I'm assuming probably sometime later this year.
Fantastic. Because I know you're here with Livewire.
Yeah.
And we will talk about them in a second, but...
I think that's a Livewire date. I'll have to get back to you on the dates because there's something coming up in October, but I think that's Livewire.
That's Livewire.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, you know better than me.
I do.
I'll ask you what my schedule is, and she'll keep me up to date.
So a friend of mine, Susan, hi Susan, is a big fan of Livewire. So she wanted me to ask you about the date, and when I was going through and preparing for this interview, I saw the date. That's why I know it's October 30th. So we already have it on our calendar.
Oh, good.
Because that's our date with you that night. We'll come and...
Yeah, that's... because I think that's Livewire and Stage Fright, I think.
At the Pure...
At Pure Yellow.
Yeah, hit,
okay, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, that's good to know. Yeah, well, thank her for her support, and thank you so much for...
she will watch this.
Good. Thank you for your support, Sarah. I appreciate that. And then... thanks for saving the date, and we're looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
We'll be there for sure.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Vince Neil.
Sure.
So how with Vince Neil, I mean, he's got a lot of critics right now saying that his voice is like tanked out. How do you feel about that? Because I disagree. I've seen Vince live.
Yeah.
I think he sounds good. Yeah. I don't have any issues with it, but for some reason he seems to constantly get this criticism thrown at him.
Well, I think him and David Lee Roth, Paul Stanley before they kind of retired, and John, has been going through a lot of that too. Him actually having a vocal surgery as well, and doing his best to recover from. I've always said, listen, I mean, ultimately it's the fans who are buying the tickets. That's what's driving the demand. You kind of have to decide for yourself if it's, because not everybody's going to be album quality for years. Some of the people I mentioned never were. They were just a vibe live. Like Roth was an amazing frontman, but not everything he did on record was necessarily what he did live. It was really just a matter of just representing the songs as best he could. There's certainly plenty of video evidence out there that, Vince certainly was an amazing frontman in his time.
Yeah.
And John as well, and Paul Stanley, of course, and things like that. I've always said, when it comes to those voices, they're not going to sound the way they did years ago, just like everybody. The rest of us are expected to retire, but those guys aren't allowed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because even Sharon had put it to with the Aussie thing. She was like, the fans they've let us know, they would rather have a bad show than no show. That's where they are. Now, that's not everybody. So the people who would be online going, give it up, those are people who are not going to buy tickets anyway.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that they necessarily don't have a point, because everyone is allowed to have their own opinion of like, hey, that quality's not enough for me personally to buy a ticket, so you don't have to go. As far as them being out there, I think it's just the people themselves who are going to decide. The way I've put it about those guys is, look, if there was an odometer on those, you know what I mean, on the throats of those guys, there is a hell of a lot of mileage. They've seen a billion faces and rocked them all, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think it really is up to the fan. I'll be honest, when I saw AC/DC, Angus was amazing, and Brian, he, was giving it everything he had. Does he sound like he did years ago? No. But again, you're talking you're talking age and a hell of a lot of mileage. The thing is those people, because they've had hits, I'm not going to lie, do get a little bit more leeway. They sometimes you will see performances and you'll be like, if that was an amateur, would I be as forgiving? Probably not. But, at the same time, these songs are why these people are gathering in these places, and they're singing them together. Whatever's not coming out of those speakers, the fans are making up for with their own voices and their own memories. You know what I mean? And
they're timeless.
That's the thing. They're timeless. You've got bands either with no original members or one or whatever, because people still want to see and hear the music. So I think for the fans that want that and want that music represented, and the bands that want to keep it alive, I say all the power to them. You know, but really, somebody who doesn't want to go, well, nobody's twisting your arm. There's no obligation of like, oh, they're coming to town again. You know, I mean, you don't have to go, right? And but you know, I think given the ticket sales, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that they're, you know, if these guys could live another 100 years, I think people would still be going because, you know, even though the music sometimes is a cemetery next to an old folks home, the music will live forever, even if the people performing it, you know, won't be. And we'll all, between our kids and our grandkids and everything, will be carrying on these songs forever.
Yes,
So.
no, I agree 100%. So what is your favorite Motley Crue song? Since we talked about Bon Jovi, now we got to figure out what the favorite Motley Crue one is.
Since I was a kid, I'd say 10 Seconds to Love. I actually, I did a performance at school when I was a kid, back when like air bands were fairly big.
Yeah.
And I have video of that. It will come up in my memories that I put on
that's awesome.
on Facebook. So yeah, I'm a kid in junior high with a handcuff belt and feathered hair. And
that's awesome.
And and the microphone and stand I got for Christmas that year and everything. So.
Okay, so we need this to be shared so we can enjoy it. So we can enjoy it and look forward to it.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll look for it. It's somewhere. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So speaking of your social media, so I was going through your social media and I found a very cool carpool karaoke.
Oh yeah. Right.
Are we going to get more of those?
Yes,
it was fantastic.
Oh,
I loved
thanks.
it.
Yeah, we were doing that. We were playing. We got asked to play a charity show, TLB in Calgary, TLB Rocks, and it was a charity show. And we were like, yeah, let's do, because James Corden was doing the car, and we're like, well, let's do that. Let's do our own thing. So we picked some songs and we drove around. And our guitar player Kevin, he ended up editing them together. And Keith was driving. I was in the passenger seat. But yeah, we definitely need an updated one. And Dave was in the back seat, and we'll pick some new songs this time. But yeah, we are overdue. There is a demand for a carpool karaoke sequel. So
100%.
Cool.
And if you want to see it, it's on Steve McQueen's Facebook page.
Okay.
So be sure to follow him and just scroll down. It's there. It's fantastic. It's really funny.
Awesome.
So last question.
Okay.
So Stampede's coming up and you're playing Stampede.
Yes.
What advice would you give to someone who is first attending Stampede, who has never attended before?
Are you going?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Well, for anyone else who is going, you know, I've heard everything. Like, look, from the minute I got to Calgary, look, the exhibition, as we call it back east.
Yes.
Okay. The CNE in Toronto, or Bill Lynch's the exhibition, as we call it back in St. John, New Brunswick. The fair comes to town in every city, but there's no theme. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, all of a sudden, I was like, the fair comes to town, right? The exhibition comes to town, but there's a rodeo in Calgary, and then everybody does, and a buddy of mine coined it Cowboy Halloween. Everybody basically dons the Western stuff, and for 10 days, everybody just goes crazy. Where I was from, and like, you know, I mean, we certainly did, had lots of events, but the first time I came to Calgary, it was like, you could go everywhere. I mean, it was free Stampede breakfasts and barbecues and lunches, and, you know, country bands can literally, I mean, especially a lot of bands, but especially country bands, you know, can make a living just, you know, for Stampede stuff. There is a million things going on. I mean, you know, when it comes to the entertainment of it, you got the grounds themselves and the Coke stage. We're actually playing the same night as Alanis Morissette.
Oh, wow.
And we're doing the Ranchman Stampede tent. Get your tickets if you haven't already. Don't wait, don't hesitate. It's going to be a blast. So we've done a Stampede tent show the last Saturday of Stampede for since after COVID.
Yes.
And then before that, it used to be King's Head on McLeod Trail. So anyway, this is our second year where we brought it to the Ranchman's Stampede tent, which is mostly a country venue, but they've made an exception for us. We had an audience that was looking for a home, and I offered it up to them, and they jumped at it. And we packed the place last year, and we're hoping to do the same this year. And everybody, it's always a great time. And I guess the advice that I would give to anybody is just, it's not cheap. So bring some money.
That's true.
And be prepared to hear wherever you go, fishing in the dark. It's Stampede time when you're fishing in the dark and friends in low places, right? And, but you're going to hear Crazy Train and you're going to hear Don't Stop Believe, you're going to hear everything. But I'm just saying, but that's how you know. But everywhere you're going to go, it's going to be people with miles of smiles, right? Smiles on their faces, cowboy hats, everybody ready to party and have a blast. And the city just, the city's about to burst when that happens. So I look forward to it. I mean, and so yeah, anybody that's never come to Stampede, it's not all, it's not all country music, but it's a little bit of everything. But I'm not going to say that people don't rock out still with a cowboy hat on.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So and Calgary is, they've certainly they know how to party. That's for sure. And so does Edmonton. Tonight, baby. Yeah.
So any shows you want to talk about before we sign off? That are upcoming that you'd like to let your fans know?
Well, other than the Stampede show, that's next. And then Cornstalk is coming up for SMB. And then after that, we've got some live wire shows, some runaway shows. I will get you the schedule on that.
Awesome.
And guaranteed, we will do Always for you.
Thank you.
We'll dedicate it to you.
Yay.
And
I'm so excited.
Oh, good. And well, I think he owes you. You know what I mean?
He does.
And I'll try to get the difference from him when he comes to town.
Okay.
So yeah, there's lots of stuff coming up. I've got some recording coming up as well. SMB started as an original band. We've done everything we could, obviously, to just play to as many people as possible and play wherever they'll have us. And we've been embraced everywhere we've gone, and we're so thankful for that. We take nothing for granted, and we're extremely thankful people that come to see us. But it is one of those things where, we do everything we can to, keep the career going. A buddy of mine, my dentist actually found out that I was the other day, and he was like, "Oh, while I was going to become a periodontist, he goes, I was in a band that was actually going to get signed." So we talked after my appointment there for about 15 minutes, and he was going on about this and that. And he goes, "I was going to school and stuff." And I said, "Well, we've all got, day jobs as well." And it's a song title as well that it will come out eventually. But one thing I've always said about that whole thing is I've been living the Clark Kent Superman scenario for years, right? I was like, because even Superman had a day job.
Yes.
And that's the title. So it's a matter of, as Clark Kent basically is the guy that, pays the bills so Superman can fly. And that's kind of what we've all done. And our families have obviously helped. So we can continue to play music in a real way and play for as many people as possible. And again, we're thankful for it. Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking some time before your show tonight.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
I will post pictures and from the show later for everyone to see. So
awesome.
But this was a pleasure. I can't wait to see your other shows.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much for taking the time. And
my pleasure.
It was a great time. So yeah, we're signing off from the commercial Blues on Whyte here in Edmonton. And thank you so much for watching, and keep watching.
Thank you.
More and more interviews. I got lots more to catch up that you've done, and I'm honored to have been asked.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a good night, everyone.
See ya.